Most people think living off investments means slowly running out of money. The math says the opposite. A correctly structured ETF portfolio at 1 million euros does not shrink when you withdraw from it. It grows every year while paying you 40,000 euros. You are not spending the portfolio. You are spending half the return while the other half builds the base for next year. This is what NTM told us. The technical layer behind the philosophy. Next 7 minutes, where the 4% rule actually comes from, the arithmetic that makes it self-sustaining, the one risk that can break it, and Mike Petry's 1 million euro projection applied year by year. There is a reason most people find the 4% rule hard to believe. The brain processes withdrawal from an investment account the same way it processes spending a savings account. Every euro taken out feels like a euro that will not be there next year. But withdrawing from a growing investment is not the same as spending a fixed pool. The pool is not fixed. It is growing at 8% per year. You are withdrawing 4%. The other 4% stays and compounds on a larger base than the year before. The intuition that says I am running out is measuring the wrong thing. It is measuring the withdrawal, not the return. Those are different numbers. One goes out, one is already coming in. Chapter 1. Where the 4% rule came from. In 1994, a financial planner named William Bengen published a study in the Journal of Financial Planning titled Determining Withdrawal Rates Using Historical Data. Bengen ran every historical 30-year period in U.S. market history going back to 1926. He asked one question: what is the maximum withdrawal rate that has never run out of money across any 30-year period? The answer was 4.15%. Rounded down for safety margin, the 4% rule. 4 years later, in 1998, the Trinity Study, published by 3 finance professors at Trinity University, expanded Bengen's work across different portfolio compositions and confirmed the finding. A balanced portfolio of stocks and bonds at a 4% withdrawal rate had a 95% success rate across all historical 30-year periods studied. This is not a theory. It is 68 years of market history, tested across every economic cycle, every crash, every period of high inflation. The 4% safe withdrawal rate is the most empirically tested number in personal finance. Chapter 2. The 8% minus 4%. Arithmetic. Here is the arithmetic that makes the whole system work. The long-term average annual return of a broad global equity ETF portfolio, tracked over decades by S&P Global and confirmed by Vanguard Research, is approximately 7 to 10% per year, with 8% as the commonly used conservative estimate. At 1 million euros invested, 8% return generates 80,000 euros in a typical year. Withdraw 40,000 euros. The 4% rule applied. The remaining 40,000 euros stays in the portfolio. Year 1 end, 1,040,000 euros. Year 2, 8% of 1,040,000 euros equals 83,200 euros return. Withdraw 40,000 euros. Keep 43,200 euros. Year 2 end, 1,083,200 euros. You withdrew 40,000 euros. The portfolio grew 83,200 euros. You kept 43,200 euros of it. The number went up. This compounds. According to Vanguard Research on long-term portfolio growth, a 1 million euro portfolio at 8% annual return with 4% withdrawal reaches approximately 1.48 million euros after 10 years, while having paid out 400,000 euros in income over that decade. The income and the portfolio both grow simultaneously, indefinitely. Chapter 3. The one risk that can break it. The 4% rule has one genuine vulnerability, not average returns. The sequence of returns. Meet Anna and Thomas. Both retire at 62. Both with exactly 1 million euros. Both withdraw 4%, 40,000 euros as per year. Anna retires in 2006. The market runs well for 2 years, then 2008 hits. Her portfolio drops 40%. She is now withdrawing 40,000 euros from a 600,000 euro portfolio. That is not 4%. That is 6.7%. And she is selling units at the lowest price. Thomas retires in 2010, 2 years after the crash. Same average returns over the following decade. Same 4% withdrawal. His portfolio barely notices the withdrawal. It compounds on a full base throughout the recovery. Same rules, same math, opposite outcomes. This is sequence of returns risk, documented extensively by financial researcher Michael Kitces. According to Kitces' research, the sequence of returns in the first 10 years of retirement determines 90% of the ultimate outcome. A strong first decade followed by a crash is recoverable. A crash in year 1 followed by a strong decade is far more damaging. The protection, a small cash or bond buffer, 1 to 2 years of withdrawal, held separately from the ETF portfolio. In a down year, withdraw from the buffer. Let the ETF portfolio recover without forced selling. This is exactly the bond allocation in Mike Petry's Stage 4 portfolio, covered in Episode 6 of What NTM Told Us. If the 4% rule is clicking, hit like. It helps more investors find exactly this kind of breakdown. Chapter 4. Mike's €1 million target applied. Mike Petry's target, documented publicly on Nobody Told Mike, is €1 million in invested assets, the goal established in Episode 3 of What NTM Told Us. Here is what that target actually delivers under the 4% rule, applied year by year. Year 1, €1 million portfolio. 8% return equals €80,000. Withdraw €40,000, the living income. Portfolio ends year at €1,040,000. Year 5. Portfolio at approximately €1,200,000. Withdrawal of €40,000 now represents only 3.3% of the portfolio, well below the 4% threshold. The system is getting safer over time, not more vulnerable. Year 10. Portfolio at approximately €1,480,000. The original million has grown by nearly 50%, while paying out €400,000 in total income across the decade. At this point, Mike could increase his annual withdrawal to €59,200, still at 4% of the now larger portfolio, and the system remains self-sustaining. The target is not the end of the story. It is the beginning of a different one. The 4% rule is not a retirement product. It is a mathematical observation, tested across 68 years of market history, confirmed by Bengen in 1994, and the Trinity Study in 1998, refined by Kitces across multiple economic cycles. At 8% average return and 4% withdrawal, the portfolio does not shrink. It grows. The income does not stop. It increases as the base increases. The only genuine risk, Anna's sequence of returns problem, is manageable with a simple cash or bond buffer. Mike Petry is building toward this on Nobody Told Mike. Not because €1 million is the number that ends the story, because it is the number where the story changes. That is what Mike Petry calls modern financial philosophy, not the highest returning strategy, the one that keeps working while you stop. You are not saving until you can afford to stop working. You are saving until your portfolio works harder than you do. Here is the question for the comments. At what portfolio size would you feel financially free? And what withdrawal rate are you planning to use? Drop it below. If this breakdown clicked for you, subscribe here for more NTM explainers. And watch Mike explain the full portfolio story himself. Nobody Told Mike, link below.